attended the program called Senior Saints in the Smokies on the campus of Johnson Bible College in Knoxville, Tennessee. It goes like this. My friend is a rather old-fashioned lady, always quite delicate and elegant, especially in her language. She and her husband were planning a week's vacation in Florida, so she wrote to a particular campground and asked for a reservation. She wanted to make sure the campground was fully equipped, but didn't quite know how to ask about the toilet facilities. She just couldn't bring herself to write the word toilet in her letter. After much deliberation, she finally came up with the old-fashioned term bathroom commode. But when she wrote that down, she still thought she was being too forward, so she started all over again, rewrote the entire letter, and referred to the bathroom commode merely as the BC. Does your campground have its own BC? Is what she actually wrote. Well, the campground owner wasn't old-fashioned at all. When he received the letter, he just couldn't figure out what the woman was talking about. The BC business really stung him. After worrying about it for a while, he showed the letter to several campers, but they couldn't imagine what the lady meant either. So the campground owner finally came to the conclusion that the lady must be asking about the location of the local Baptist church. And he sat down and wrote the following reply. Dear Madam, I regret very much the delay in answering your letter, but I now take the pleasure of informing you that the BC is located 9 miles north of the campground on a beautiful hill overlooking the bay. The BC is capable of seating 250 people at one time comfortably. I admit it is quite a distance if you're in the habit of going regularly. But no doubt you will be pleased to know that a great number of people take their lunches along to take a bath. They usually go early and stay late. The last time my wife and I went was 6 years ago. And it was so crowded that we had to stand up the entire time we were there. It may interest you to know that right now there is a supper being planned to raise money to buy more seats. They're going to hold it in the basement of the BC. I would like to say that it pains me very much not to be able to go more regularly, but it surely is no lack of desire on my part. As we grow older, it becomes more of an effort to go. Particularly in cold weather. If you do decide to come down to our campground, perhaps I could go with you the first time. Sit with you and introduce you to all the other folks. Remember, this is a friendly community. Anybody here from West Virginia? But anyway, this happened in West Virginia. A family lived way up in the mountains. And none of them had any opportunity for an education except one boy named Jim. And Jim had an opportunity to go away to college, and he was home for the weekend. And when they got ready to go to bed that night, about 7 o'clock, they decided to blow out the candle that sat on this old roughshod table. So they picked up the candle, and Mom picked it up, and she said, I can't blow out that candle. Paul, where'd you say you got that candle? He said, down at the store yesterday. She said, sure enough? He said, yeah. She said, why don't you try it? And he said, all right. So he went up to it, and he said, well, I can't blow it out neither. He said, are you sure you got that down at the store? And she said, yeah, I got it down there yesterday. He said, sure enough? And she said, yeah. She said, why don't you try it one more time? So he went, he still couldn't blow it out. So finally, Paul said, Mary, why don't you come over here and see if you can blow this out? She said, yeah, okay, I will. So she went up to it and she went, she said, well, I can't pull it out neither. But that's the strangest candle I ever seen in all my life. So finally, Mary said, George, why don't you try it? So George went up to it and he went, okay, I'll try it. So he went up and he went, he said, I can't pull it out neither. So finally George said, Jim, you've been to college, why don't you try it? Mary said, yeah, I'll give it a try. And Paul said, won't hurt to try. And Paul said, yeah, I'll give it a try. So Jim went up to it and he went, blew it right out. And they said, boy, it sure is wonderful what a college education will do.